You're not as far behind as you think. You're not a failure. You're just missing one core principle Napoleon Hill tried to hammer into everyone's mind, and once you see it, your whole approach to success will change. Listen closely, because this message is for the man or woman who feels the chill of wasted time. Perhaps you are in your 30s, your 40s, or even your 50s, and you look back at years spent serving a vision that was not your own. You see others passing you by. You try to work harder, yet the results remain meager. You are not failing because you lack ability. You are failing because your efforts lack a singular driving force. The single fatal flaw that separates those who succeed from the 98% who are classed as failures is often the lack of persistence and the associated lack of decision. Riches begin in the form of thought, but thoughts are inert and useless without sufficient power to translate them into action. Your current material circumstances, your bank account, your career position, your relationships are the physical manifestation of the dominant thought patterns you have allowed to enter your mind. You can change those patterns, and therefore you can change the results. The law of attraction is always at work in your life, whether you are aware of it or not. It draws to you what you focus on most intently, mixed with emotion. This law is impartial. It does not care if your dominant thoughts are positive or negative, only that they are definite and charged with feeling. You have spent your precious time pursuing vague goals with insufficient motivation, and this is why you feel stuck. The human mind abhors a vacuum. If you do not give it a definite command, it will wander into distraction, doubt, and ultimately defeat. This lack of self-direction, which you may call simply drifting, is the silent negator of all ambition, especially for those who feel the pressure of the passing years. This mental wandering is the reason so many bright individuals retire into poverty. Their energy was diffused across 1,000 points of interest rather than focused on one commanding aim. This tendency to drift is in fact the chief psychological cause of failure, providing an open door for the 6 basic fears to enter and dominate the mind. This message will show you the exact, organized steps to acquire the power needed to command your destiny, starting now by commanding the irresistible force of your desire. If you believe it is too late for you, then I tell you plainly, you are not too late, but you do not have time to waste. The missing principle that will immediately transform your efforts is definiteness of purpose. I discovered, in my study of over 500 of the most successful people in America, that without exception, every single one of them had a definite chief aim. They knew exactly what they wanted, and they pursued it with an unwavering, single-minded focus that became an obsession. This singular focus is the intellectual equivalent of a magnifying glass focusing the sun's rays. It creates fire where scattered light creates only warmth. When your desires are scattered, your energy is wasted. When they are concentrated on a definite aim, you generate an unstoppable heat that melts away obstacles. The man with a definite purpose automatically draws to himself, through the operation of immutable laws, the necessary means for its realization. You feel like a failure, not because you didn't work, but because your work was scattered. Your effort lacked the magnetic energy that comes only from a definite aim. This is why the laborer who works 18 hours a day remains poor, while the thinker who works 4 hours a day organizing his definite aim commands a fortune. The reward in the world of achievement goes not to the volume of labor, but to the intelligence and definiteness with which that labor is directed. Hard work alone is not enough. Millions of men labor ceaselessly without definite purpose and retire with nothing to show for their efforts but physical exhaustion. Remember this truth. All achievement and earned riches have their beginning in an IDEA mixed with a burning desire. The average person approaches the world with a vague hope. I want to be rich. I want to be successful. I want to be free. A vague wish is worth nothing. It is a flickering candle in a storm. But a definite chief aim, backed by a burning desire, is an unstoppable force. It is the rudder that guides your ship through any storm, ensuring you do not drift onto the rocks of mediocrity. Without this rudder, You are left to the mercy of the changing winds of the economy and the fickle opinions of others. The burning desire, the fixation, is essential because it is the only state of mind capable of communicating clearly with the subconscious mind. Why did Edwin C. Barnes succeed where thousands of others failed? He did not have money. He did not have specialized knowledge or a powerful social network. What he did have was a burning desire to become the business associate of the great inventor, Thomas Edison. His desire was so intense it bordered on white-hot fury, demanding physical expression. This desire was his only capital when he started, but it was capital far more valuable than gold or bank credit. He understood that true riches are first acquired through mental energy, not physical labor. Barnes walked across the country, arrived at Edison's laboratory, and told Edison he had come to go into business with him. Edison saw a man standing before him who looked like a tramp, but he sensed a power in the fire of his obsession. Edison later said he meant to stand there until he got what he came after. Barnes did not get a job, but he got a chance. For 5 years, he worked in Edison's office in a minor capacity, doing menial labor, but never for 1 second did he let go of his definite purpose. He held the thought of being Edison's partner in his mind with such intensity, such faith, that the opportunity finally arrived. When Edison created a new dictating machine that his sales staff doubted, Barnes seized the moment, proved the machine's value, and secured the partnership. He proved how true it is that men really do think and grow rich. His achievement was the result of a fixed purpose channeled through years of daily service, all leading to one single, massive objective. His 5 years of menial labor were not wasted time. They were a persistent form of autosuggestion, reinforcing his definite purpose until the vision became physical reality. Barnes proved that the only limit to achievement is the limit one places on one's own definite chief aim. Barnes was a late starter in every sense, yet his definite desire created the opportunity for his breakthrough. If you are serious about escaping the trap of scattered effort and the fear that it is too late, you must adopt this first foundational principle. Action. Hill's 6 steps for transmuting desire. Desire is the first step toward riches. It is the beginning of the entire process. You must convert the vague wish for money into the definiteness of money, using the following 6 steps. These are not suggestions. They are commands that must be followed precisely. Fix the exact result and what you will give in return. Do not simply say, "I want more money." Say, "I will possess $100,000 by December 1st, 2026. Then state precisely what you intend to give in return for this money. Nature demands a price for everything. You will give honest, definite service to others through your definite purpose. The universe rewards equal exchange. You must be prepared to render service that is equivalent to the wealth you intend to command. This insistence on a price prevents you from falling into the delusion of something for nothing. The service you render must always be of measurable value to the world, ensuring that your prosperity is deserved and sustainable. Establish a definite date for possession. A desire without a deadline is merely a fantasy. You must choose a specific date. This applies not only to money, but to any definite aim you choose. This deadline engages your subconscious mind, forcing it to work toward a specific time-bound goal. The definite date provides the necessary urgency for your efforts and plans. The definite date acts as a self-imposed pressure, which is vital for overcoming the natural human tendency toward procrastination. Create a plan and begin at once, whether ready or not. The greatest mistake of late starters is waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. You must begin now. Immediately put into action the first steps of your plan. Even the smallest action today creates momentum, which is the only force capable of overcoming years of inaction. A poor plan put into immediate action is infinitely better than a perfect plan that remains dormant. The mere act of starting sets in motion the necessary machinery of the mind and attracts cooperating forces. Write out this clear statement. On paper, write out steps 1, 2, and 3 in clear, concise, and bold language. This written statement becomes your definite chief aim, DCA. Writing it down turns an ephemeral thought into a physical reality and a constant reference point. This written statement is your contract with yourself, a blueprint for your subconscious mind, and a command to the universe. The physical act of writing aids the mind in crystallizing the vaporous thought into a definite physical objective. Read it aloud twice daily. Read your written statement morning and night. Do not merely skim the words. Speak to them with passion. The vibration of your voice impresses the thought upon your subconscious mind with greater force than silent reading. The morning reading sets the trajectory for the day, and the evening reading ensures that your subconscious works on the problem while you sleep. You are literally commanding your inner self to accept these instructions as fact, ensuring every waking and sleeping moment contributes to your aim. As you read, see, and feel, and believe yourself already in possession, this is where faith, the second step toward riches, is introduced. As you read your DCA, you must mix it with emotion. See yourself, feel yourself, already having the money or the success you desire. You must create the mental equivalent of the wealth you seek and believe in its absolute realization. Faith is the catalyst that transforms the thought vibration of your desire into its spiritual equivalent, ready for material translation. This mental rehearsal is the final step in preparing your mind to attract the desired physical equivalent. This process transforms aimlessness into power. It converts the weakness of vague goals into the fire of desire backed by faith. If you dedicate the next 90 days to this single 6-step process, your entire life must begin to shift. You will stop wasting effort and start commanding results. You are not too late to begin this process, but you have wasted enough time. Your failure was simply a lack of a clear target. Now you have the target. Your command must be absolute. Act now. The reason your desires have not manifested, even if you have written them down, is that plain, unemotional words do not influence the subconscious mind. You missed the missing mental link. Your thoughts lack the vital ingredient needed for magnetic attraction. You were attempting to speak to the depth of your soul using the shallow language of logic. Your subconscious mind understands and acts only upon impressions that have been registered through feeling and emotional belief. The missing principle is autosuggestion, and it is the only agency by which you may voluntarily influence your subconscious mind and convert information into belief. Your subconscious mind is a fertile garden. Every thought, positive or negative, planted with feeling, will grow and bring forth fruit. You have spent years feeding it, crippling doubt, negative self-talk, and the fear that you are doomed to failure or poverty. These thoughts, repeated with emotion, became the commands your subconscious mind executed. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between constructive and destructive thought. It merely acts upon the emotions you feed it. This truth is powerful, for it means that poverty consciousness is self-inflicted through decades of negative suggestion. The seeds of poverty, once planted through fear and doubt, are tended and grown by the impartial gardener of your subconscious mind. Autosuggestion is the third step toward riches. It is the channel of communication between the conscious mind, where your definite purpose is born, and the subconscious mind, which is the seat of all creative power and action. It is the bridge that turns abstract desire into tangible habit and result. It is the practice of repeatedly delivering commands to your soul in a way that your soul is forced to believe and execute them. Without this controlled communication, the subconscious remains vulnerable to the negative and limiting thoughts of your environment. If your mind is filled with fear, worry, and doubt, it is because you have failed to control the suggestions you feed it. You must understand that the subconscious mind acts upon only thoughts which have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. An intellectual thought, cold and detached, has no power to change your circumstances. A thought charged with the emotion of faith is unstoppable. Every great leader and industrialist, whether they knew the name of the principle or not, mastered this method of self-direction. Rockefeller's daily affirmations of his financial destiny, Ford's belief in mass production, and Carnegie's unwavering faith in his mastermind were all forms of powerful autosuggestion. This consistent mental reinforcement is what creates the self-confidence necessary to take massive action without hesitation. I studied a powerful example of this truth in my own life. My son, Blair Hill, was born without the physical structure of ears. Doctors determined he would never hear or speak. Yet, through the relentless desire of his mother, backed by faith and persistent autosuggestion, Blair not only learned to hear, but learned to speak a miracle in the eyes of the medical world. The subconscious mind, when commanded with desire and belief, translates impulses into physical reality. This case demonstrated that the mind's power, when correctly organized and focused, supersedes physical limitations and scientific expectations. The mother's unwavering belief created a healing environment through autosuggestion, proving that the mind is the supreme architect of all physical reality. Blair's subsequent ability to live a full and productive life became a living testament to the power of applied, emotionalized faith. If you want to move from feeling doomed to victory, you must take command of this channel of communication. Are you ready to stop being governed by old fear and start commanding your own mind? The chains of slavery are often mental, and autosuggestion is the key to unlocking them. The power is available to you now. You need only to use it with definiteness and consistency. You are at war with the negativity programmed into you by your youth and environment, and autosuggestion is your weapon. Action. Apply the autosuggestion formula daily. Your purpose must be impressed upon the subconscious mind through a conscious, disciplined ritual. Emotionalize the orders. Take your written, definite chief aim. When you read it aloud twice daily, you must not simply speak the words. Close your eyes, and as you read, feel the emotion of already possessing your desire. Imagine the relief, the pride, the security that your aim will bring. Your subconscious mind responds to the feeling of wealth, not just the words for wealth. Let the words be consumed by the powerful emotion of faith. This emotional charge is the voltage that makes your commands irresistible. The intensity of your feeling must be great enough to drown out the voice of doubt and the memory of past failure. Apply the self-confidence formula daily. I created a formula specifically to break the crippling power of negative self-talk and fear. You must write out and repeat this formula aloud once a day, demanding persistent, continuous action toward your definite purpose. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. This daily declaration is an unbreakable oath to yourself, replacing indecision with conviction. This formula inoculates your mind against the destructive influence of doubt and external criticism. This ritual must be performed with the same seriousness and focus that a religious man uses during prayer. Concentrate and visualize. Concentrate intensely for 15 minutes daily upon thinking of the person you intend to become, creating a clear mental picture. The intensity of the focus is more important than the clock. Do not see the current version of yourself. See the commander, the owner, the achiever. Hold that image in your mind until the feeling of it is real. This mental picture serves as the blueprint that your subconscious mind is compelled to build. This focused visualization is the creative effort required to attract the people, resources, and ideas necessary for your success. Through this intense focus, you engage the creative portion of your subconscious mind, which is the link to infinite intelligence. Use repetition. Any thought, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through the repetition of thought until it becomes a part of the subconscious mind's working equipment. If you skip a day, you invite the old negative programming back in. Consistency is the key to unlocking this power. Repetition is the only language the subconscious mind truly understands and obeys. 1,000 small affirmations repeated daily will overcome one massive doubt that has been allowed to fester. The power of autosuggestion lies entirely in its consistent, disciplined application. If you are worried that you have failed too many times, Understand that failure is merely the result of a mind that was not yet under control. Fear is the great crippler, but fear itself is only a thought planted by suggestion. You have the power to close the door to fear and replace it with faith through this simple daily ritual of autosuggestion. This is not magic. It is a scientific law of the mind. Control your thoughts and you command your results. The late starter must use this power more intensely than anyone else because you do not have the luxury of time to think small. If this message is resonating with you, if you recognize the years of scattered effort and vague goals, I urge you to join this channel. This is not a community for wishing. It is a laboratory for achievement. Subscribe now so we may continue this journey together, applying the principles of riches and overcoming the lies that held you back. You have stalled not because the desire was weak, but because you are missing the seventh step toward riches, decision. Lack of decision was near the head of the list of the 30 major causes of failure I analyzed across 25,000 case studies. The man who hesitates, the man who permits the opinions of others to sway him, is destined for failure. Indecision is the great slow decline that postpones all breakthroughs. It is the poison that paralyzes the will and keeps potential locked within the prison of the mind. The history of all great leaders shows that they were men of swift and definite decisions, while the mass of humanity is defined by its procrastination. You may have a burning desire, and you may practice autosuggestion, but if you cannot transform those impulses into prompt, definite action, you are left with mere daydreams. To gain momentum, you must instantly adopt the habit of reaching decisions promptly. This pain point indecision, the inability to start paralyzing analysis, is not a character flaw. It is a habit, and a crippling one. It is the habit of waiting, of seeking the approval of others, and of refusing to trust the power of your own mind. How much time have you already forfeited by waiting for permission? The world is run by men who have mastered the art of making immediate and definite choices. The ability to make a clean, swift decision is the clearest mark of a person who understands the power of self-command. This swiftness is a form of self-trust, indicating that the mind is highly organized and fully aligned with its definite purpose. Consider the story of Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez. He needed $1 million to build his college, Armour Institute. For a long time he hoped, he prayed, and he labored, but he lacked the power. He struggled because his purpose lacked the catalyst of an absolute, definite decision. His struggle was a spiritual one, the result of a failure to command his vision into immediate material form. His desire was strong, but it was not until he coupled that desire with a fixed point in time and a non-negotiable decision that the necessary energy was released. He recognized that faith is nothing more than a definite decision that cannot be shaken by the appearance of impossibility. One Saturday morning, he reached a definite decision to acquire the money within a week. He stood before his congregation and announced that he would preach a sermon the next day on what I would do if I had $1 million. In the audience was Philip D. Armour. Armour listened to the sermon, which laid out a definite plan, and at the end, he not only promised the $1 million, but gave it all within 36 hours of Gonzalez making his absolute decision. The money did not arrive when he wished for it. It arrived when he decided it must. He recognized that the only limitation is that which one sets up in one's own mind. The minute you decide, the world begins to yield. A definite decision is the signal you send to the universe that you are ready to command your destiny. The firmness of the decision forces the universe to reorganize itself to meet your demand. The delay was simply the time required for his mind to organize itself and communicate a clear command. Action. Adopt the habit of prompt decision. The late starter cannot afford to be indecisive. Every day spent in deliberation is a day lost to the competition. The cost of deliberation far outweighs the cost of a mistake. It is often wiser to risk a wrong decision than to suffer the eternal failure of indecision. The habit of prompt decision is one of the most practical and necessary traits for anyone seeking to rise above the level of mediocrity. Reach decisions promptly. Study the successful men around you. You will find that they reach decisions promptly and change them slowly. The man who fails reaches decisions slowly, if at all, and changes them frequently. Train yourself to move from desire to action with minimal friction. Speed and definiteness are the hallmarks of a clear mind. Make it a habit to trust your immediate, inspired judgment, and only change that judgment after slow, careful deliberation. The man who changes his decisions frequently indicates a fundamental lack of confidence in his own judgment, which is crippling to any major undertaking. Avoid opinions. Do not permit the opinions of others, especially friends, relatives, and neighbors, to influence your major decisions. You must understand that the vast majority of people are failures, and their advice is nothing more than the projection of their own fear and doubt. Keep your own counsel and trust the power of your definite chief aim. Your goal is extraordinary, and it cannot be validated by ordinary minds. Guard your plans from the influence of negative or uninspired critics who have done nothing more than stay within the lines drawn for them by others. The moment you permit the advice of others to change your definite purpose, you surrender your mental sovereignty to fear. Create a written plan. Organized planning is the sixth step toward riches, and it is the bridge between desire and action. Desire is taken to the workshop of the imagination, where plans for its transition are created and organized. This plan does not need to be perfect. It simply needs to exist. Write it down. Organize your resources and set milestones. Organized planning converts mental force into practical operation. This is how you ensure your effort is intelligent, not merely strenuous. This written plan serves as the general's map, allowing you to direct your forces, time, money, skills, with precision toward the final victory. Act on inspiration. You do not wait for a perfect plan. You begin with the best plan you have. Furthermore, when inspired ideas, plans that flash into your mind as inspiration through the sixth sense appear, you must immediately put them into action. These are the impulses of your subconscious mind responding to your definite purpose. They are gifts from the universe, and hesitation will cause them to vanish. The inspiration of the moment is your greatest ally. Do not let the cold logic of hesitation deter it. When the impulse comes, move with it before the rational mind can invent excuses for delay. The great thinkers know that inspired ideas are fleeting gifts and must be seized and acted upon instantly or lost forever. Indecision is the enemy of all progress. If you have wasted years, the cure is not more thought, it is more action. Make your decision now, and let the sheer momentum of movement crush the paralysis of doubt. You must leave behind the habit of deliberation if you wish to overtake those who started before you. If you are failing, you are missing the single principle that guarantees achievement: persistence. I tell you plainly, failure cannot cope with persistence. Where the mind is set on a definite purpose and backed by an unbreakable will, defeat simply cannot find a dwelling place. The power of persistence is the force of character that distinguishes the leader from the follower, the winner from the quitter. Look at the successful men of industry. They all face temporary defeat, and many face crushing failure. The hidden guide tests men through discouraging experiences. It separates the man who merely wishes for riches from the man who demands them. And those who fight on are bountifully rewarded. Temporary defeat is not failure. It is only a signal that your plans are unsound or your persistence is weak. It is the universe's way of refining your faith and separating the weak from the truly worthy. Every temporary defeat carries within it a lesson of equal or greater value, which the man of persistence extracts before moving forward. The universal mistake, the one that ends more potential than any other, is quitting when overtaken by temporary defeat. The famous story of R.U. Darby's uncle illustrates this perfectly. Darby's uncle became infected with the gold rush fever and began digging in Colorado. He mined until he found the sign of the shining ore, and then, after hauling out a few carloads, he lost the vein. He dug on desperately until the difficulty overwhelmed him. He sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and went home a broken man. The junk man, a practical miner, hired an engineer, and the engineer, after a brief examination, calculated that the vein was only 3 feet from where Darby's uncle had stopped digging. The junk man took millions of dollars from the mine, all because Darby's uncle was missing just 3 feet of persistence. Darby's uncle was defeated by the fear of criticism and a lack of faith in his original vision. He mistook a temporary delay for permanent defeat, and that intellectual error cost him a fortune. His tragedy was a failure of the mind, not a failure of the gold reserve. This is the great universal mistake, quitting 3 feet from gold. Contrast this with men like W.C. Fields and Eddie Cantor, who lost fortunes in the economic crashes of their time. They lost everything they had materially, but they never lost their persistence or their courage. They immediately began staging comebacks because their will was unbreakable. They knew that wealth can be rebuilt quickly when the principles of organized thought are understood. They simply returned to the well of definite purpose, decision, and persistence. Is your burning desire strong enough to keep digging those last 3 feet? The great comeback is not a miracle. It is the inevitable result of an unyielding will. Their true fortune was not in their bank accounts. It was in their organized mental power, which is the only asset that cannot be taken away. Their experience confirmed the truth that organized mental power, backed by persistence, is the greatest asset in the world. Persistence is the 8th step toward riches. It is the deliberate concentration of effort and the willpower to carry out one's plans to the finish. It is the difference between a wish and a command. Willpower and desire, when properly mixed, create a power that even the law of gravity cannot resist. It is the constant, unyielding application of effort that transforms intangible thought into its tangible, physical equivalent. Action. Build persistence through 4 steps. Lack of persistence may be remedied by building a stronger fire under your desires. Remember the feeling of the burning desire you generated in Section 1. You must return to that fire every time you are tempted to quit. Persistence is a state of mind, and like all states of mind, it can be cultivated and controlled. It is the result of continuous effort applied to a definite program of self-discipline. The man who masters the habit of persistence can literally achieve any objective he sets for himself, regardless of the odds. Increased desire. Your persistence is directly proportional to the intensity of your desire. If you quit easily, it is because your goal is not a life or ending priority. Read your definite chief aim twice daily and mix it with maximum emotion to fortify your will. Desire is the fuel, and persistence is the engine. A mild wish produces a mild effort. Only a white-hot desire can sustain the effort required for a major success. Without the heat of a burning desire, the engine of persistence will inevitably stall under pressure. Adopt the winner's creed. Write out and internalize this motto and paste it where you can see it daily. A quitter never wins and a winner never quits. This creed becomes a powerful auto-suggestion that fortifies your will against the fear of criticism and failure. You must program your mind to reject the possibility of retreat. This simple motto is a concentrated dose of mental armor against the paralyzing fear of failure. The continuous mental repetition of this creed creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of success. Build persistence through 4 requirements. Persistence does not happen by accident. It is built through 4 definite steps. A definite purpose backed by burning desire. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. A mind closed tightly against all negative, discouraging influences. A friendly alliance with 1 or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with your plan, the master mind. These 4 principles are the scientific foundation upon which an unbreakable will is constructed. If any single element is missing, your power to persist will be dramatically compromised. Persistence is merely the mechanical application of the first 8 steps toward riches. Leverage adversity. You must recognize that every adversity, every failure, every hardhatch carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Do not let temporary defeat stop you. Analyze it, learn the lesson it carries, and then turn it into a step toward victory. The man who learns how to profit by failure will eventually achieve greatness. The true leader uses defeat as a stepping stone, never as a stop sign. The late starter must view every setback as vital intelligence that saves precious time by eliminating faulty methods. The true measure of a man's persistence is how he reacts after being momentarily defeated. I understand that the late starter fears that failure now means there is no time left for a second attempt. But the truth is, the successful man or woman simply has a higher tolerance for failure because they are backed by a more relentless persistence. When you adopt these 4 steps, you become ungovernable by fear and unstoppable in action. You are not too late to start, but you are out of time to quit. Many of you may be facing intense pressure from your family, friends, or environment. They are telling you to be realistic, that you are too old, or that your dream is foolish. If you feel like your circumstances, your age, your toxic circle, your past mistakes are holding you back, leave a comment below. Tell me your age, your goal, and the single biggest fear or doubt that is paralyzing your action. I want you to share this burden and then cast it off. We are building a mastermind of definite purpose here, and the first step is to confess the enemy you face. You are behind because you have been trying to acquire power alone. Perhaps your current circle is toxic, or perhaps you feel the isolation of those who dare to think bigger than their environment permits. The late starter does not have time for this solitary, slow accumulation. The world does not pay men merely for knowing things, but for applying organized knowledge through intelligent cooperation. The solitary genius is a myth. All major fortunes are built by organized teams. You must discard the notion that great achievement is a one-person task. It is the result of applying the mastermind principle, the single principle that instantly multiplies your capacity and gives you the leverage needed to catch up is the mastermind. Power is organized and intelligently directed knowledge, and this leverage is attained through the cooperative efforts of others. If you try to acquire all the knowledge, all the skill, and all the influence alone, you will fail. The effort to succeed alone is a waste of time that the late starter simply cannot afford. You must learn to think not merely with your own mind, but with the combined mental resources of others. This combined mental reservoir is the source of all irresistible power. Your limited influence, your toxic network, the feeling of isolation, and even the self-conscious inferiority complex due to limited education, all of these are overcome instantly when you embrace the mastermind principle. This alliance offers a quick and practical solution to the lack of specialized knowledge that many feel is holding them back. The mastermind is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of perfect harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. The group mind, when working in harmony, generates a third force, a spiritual power that is greater than the sum of its parts. This third force is the successful leverage against the years you lost. The mental chemistry created by this alliance is the single greatest source of power for the rapid accumulation of wealth. This third force, often called the dynamic of the mastermind, provides the spiritual energy and wisdom necessary for instantaneous decision and action. The vibration of the combined minds creates a resonance that attracts ideas and opportunities that would be invisible to a single, isolated mind. Look at the industrial architect, Andrew Carnegie. He acquired his huge fortune by making practical use of this principle. He was not the smartest man in the group, but he surrounded himself with the best specialized minds, chemists, engineers, metallurgists, and managers. He became rich by accumulating and organizing the thoughts, ideas, and organized plans of others. His fortune was built on the mastermind principle, which is the 9th step toward riches. Carnegie understood that all the specialized knowledge necessary for his success was held in the minds of his associates. His job was simply to organize that knowledge in harmony. Carnegie's true genius lay in his ability to attract, motivate, and maintain harmony among a score of men whose knowledge surpassed his own in their respective fields. He understood that the ability to organize and utilize the brains of others is the greatest specialized knowledge one can possess. If you are lacking in a certain skill or experience, do not despair. Recognize that your greatest asset is the ability to acquire and organize the specialized knowledge of others through a harmonious alliance. Action. Organize power and maintain harmony. Your ability to quickly rise in life depends on your ability to use the power of the mastermind. Form the harmonious alliance. Ally yourself with a group of people needed for carrying out your plan. This may be 2 or 3 people with complementary skills, or even a mentor whose knowledge you can draw upon. Crucially, you must maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member. If you fail in this, you may expect failure. The slightest friction or jealousy will subvert the spiritual power of the mastermind. Unity of purpose is non-negotiable for this principle to work. Harmony is the lubricant that prevents the friction of conflicting personalities and ideas from slowing down progress. The coordinated effort must feel like a single-minded entity, all focused on the definite chief aim. Acquire specialized knowledge. General knowledge is of but little use in the accumulation of wealth. Use your alliance to access the specialized knowledge needed for your definite chief aim. If you need to know marketing, associate with a marketer. If you need to know engineering, associate with an engineer. You don't need to know everything, but you must know how to organize the knowledge you need. This is the economic law of labor specialization, applied to the creation of fortune. Never make the mistake of believing you must go back to school for decades. Specialized knowledge is acquired instantly through the right alliance. The successful man surrounds himself with the specific knowledge he lacks, making the deficiency irrelevant. Practice self-discipline. Recognize that you have the power to completely control your own mind, closing the doors tightly to admit only thought impulses of your own choice. The mastermind is a powerful force that works only when all members focus their minds. If you permit fear, negativity, or doubt to enter your own mind, you weaken the entire alliance. You must be the guardian of your own mental space to protect the integrity of the collective power. Your commitment to positive thought is a debt you owe to every member of your mastermind group. Any thought of self-pity, fear, or envy is a betrayal of the mastermind principle and must be eliminated. Lead by service. The mastermind is not about taking, it is about contribution. Induce others to serve you because of your willingness to first serve them. Before you ask, "What can I get?" ask, "What can I give?" Your value to the group, your willingness to contribute, your own persistence and definite purpose is the currency that attracts others. The law of compensation ensures that you will be compensated in direct proportion to the service you render. The greatest leaders are not those who demand service, but those who inspire it through their genuine desire to contribute. The true leader's willingness to serve first is the invisible bond that holds the mastermind alliance together. Do not try to catch up alone. Use the supreme power that the great industrial leaders use to command fortunes. This organized power is your ultimate leverage against wasted time. Will you choose the lonely struggle or the power of the mastermind? We have covered the foundational principles that separate the fortunate few from the millions who merely hope. Desire, faith, autosuggestion, organized planning, decision, persistence, and the mastermind. You are not failing. You are just missing the principle that transforms a wish into a definite command. The honest, difficult truth is that you have been holding yourself back, not because you lack the ability, but because you permitted aimlessness to replace definite purpose, doubt to replace faith, and indecision to replace prompt action. You have been operating without a system, and wealth is the inevitable result of an organized system. The entire framework of these principles provides the system, the foundation, and the power plant for your second start. Your redemption is not a matter of luck or chance. It is a matter of applying these fixed, immutable laws of success. The system that held you back, the vague advice, the toxic circles, the years of labor without ownership, it all rested upon your lack of command over your own mind. I have given you the exact, organized steps used by the wealthiest men who ever lived. These are not tips, they are laws. Your definite chief aim gives you a target. Faith and autosuggestion give you emotional fuel. Decision and organized planning give you the first unstoppable momentum. Persistence guarantees you will pass the final test. The mastermind gives you the organized power to command results instantly. You are not too late, but you do not have time to waste. If you have found this structure, this clarity, and this path forward helpful, do not keep it to yourself. There is someone in your life, a friend, a relative, a fellow traveler who also feels behind, who also secretly fears it is too late. Share this message with them now. Do not wait for them to ask. The final, essential command is this: move now. Do not wait for a better plan. Do not wait for more knowledge. Do not wait for courage. Command your mind. Write your aim. Take the first step, and persist until success is yours. You have the map. The time for study is over. The time for action is now. This channel walks with you on the path to growth and redemption. Start now.